In some of my previous videos, I've talked about problems that you have with these little fixturing nuts, these shock absorbing nuts that are used to hold down your rear deck when you after you clean your vehicle. What we have here is, you can see one of them here and one here, and there's these slots in the hull, and these things fit up into the slot, and these little detents here pop out over the fiberglass. And what happens is, this allows this to be fixtured this way, and this rubber provides some shock absorbing capability, so that when you draw up the nut, you don't crack your fiberglass or crack your deck. Here's the deck itself. That we have put down, and this machine screw with the Torx head goes in, and it fixtures right in between there, and then you screw that in, and what happens is the screw itself, the diameter of the screw itself, keeps this from popping out of the groove. The only problem is that after you take it off, your deck off, and do your cleaning, you put your deck back on, and you have to insert this machine screw through this hole, and then you have to press down in here and get this fixtured right. And if this has worked its way through use over time into a kind of more closed position, what's going to happen is your screw is going to hit here, it's going to push this out. Now you might ask, what's the problem with that? Well, the problem is that it falls down into your engine compartment. Sure, but you can usually fish that out. But the real problem is, back here at the back, you've got all kinds of exhaust mechanisms and components back here that makes it real difficult to fit your hand back up underneath here and fixture this in the right position. As I mentioned in some of my earlier videos, I've tried taping my fingers like this and putting it up in there, and the only problem is that the alarm from my neighbor is going off and messing up this video, but we'll just work through it. So the only problem is, if you got fat hands like me, there's a component, especially on this side, that is hard plastic that's connected to the exhaust system, and you can't quite fit your hand up in there, even if you tape it with duct tape to keep it from falling off. I've also tried, putting a stick underneath here and gluing it and stuff, but that's a real pain in the behind to do that. I thought that once I fixtured it the first time, I wouldn't have a problem again, but sometimes they get old, and it seemed like every time I was taking my deck on and off, this thing would fall out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hole right in here so that I can get my fingers up underneath there to fixture this and pop it back in, so that I can do that anytime, and I can carry some of these extras new in my repair kit, so I don't have so much of a problem. What we're going to do after that is, we're going to go ahead and pop this hole cover cap into the in place, and you can see it's got a real thin profile, and this here slips into the hole, and this holds it. What I'll do is, I'll silicone this around the outside to keep water from getting in, and that way, if I ever need to do something, I can just pop this off and get my fingers back there and fixture it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll cut the hole now. What you want to do is, you want to come back 1.5 inches. This is a 2-inch cap, and you want to use your hole saw that's a 2-inch hole saw to cut your hole 1.5 inches up in line with the mechanism here. You want to make sure that you adjust your bit length outside your hole saw to be very, very not so long, because the component under here is only about I guess that far from the underside of the deck. You don't want to put a hole in it. So let's go ahead and drill the hole and see how this works. Dust is probably going to go everywhere, but I'm not putting on my vacuum cleaner because it makes just so much noise for the video. All right, there you go. There's a 2-inch plug coupon that's come out. There's the 2-inch hole right here, and then we'll just pop this down in here, right like that. And then when you want to get it off, you can just get your fingernail and come put it up like that. And now this allows you to get your fingers up underneath there and fixture this as you need to. The reason you want 1.5 inches back is because on the underside of the deck there's a plastic that goes around here that fixtures it to the deck, and you don't want to be too off center. Here you can see right here is what we're talking about. So you need your hole on the inside here. So I'll go ahead and clean that up, and then we'll see how it looks. All right, so in this case what we do is we use my my wife's Dyson home vac, and we won't tell her about it, as opposed to using my shop vac. And of course stuff is going to fall down in there, but you go ahead and clean that out when you clean your engine bay. And there we have it. So now when you need to replace that thing, you just pop that up like that. And you can take the old one out, and then you can put it back in. You'll still have to be a little careful to make sure that you don't drop it, and you might want to put tape around here, duct tape or something. So you're still going to probably want to go ahead and tape this to your fingers just to make sure. And you pop it in like that, and you just rotate your fingers, and there you have it. And yes, in the demonstration video when I tried it without the tape, it fell to the bottom. So now I'll go fish that out, and we will not have a video on that.